Perhaps there is a class somewhere. An education in making something inconvenient appear to be so, well, natural.
We'll be back at 6. See you then.
The general retreats.
I will not be a candidate for president or for any other elective office in 1996.
Powell will not run, at least not now. And suddenly it's a whole new Campaign 96. We'll have analysis plus reaction from candidates and voters around the country. Also, Eye on America. Tonight, sneaking messages into your mind. What they're telling you and selling you.
I breathe deeply.
I take good care of my body.
This is the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather.
Good evening. Retired General Colin Powell is out, at least for now. He says he will not seek elective office. He also, quote, ruled out being any other Republican's running mate, but did not actually say no way, no how. Powell did say that he's planning to be active in Republican politics, a shot at the party's hard right and also at Democrats who might be tempted to take the African-American vote for granted. David Martin begins our coverage.
Colin Powell today ended the suspense about whether he would seek the Republican presidential nomination.
I will not be a candidate for president or for any other elective office in 1996.
And that includes running for vice president.
Have you ruled out the prospect of being a vice presidential candidate?
I have ruled it out.
But with his wife Alma at his side, Powell for the first time called himself a Republican and made clear he was staying out of the race for personal, not political reasons.
It would require sacrifices and changes in our lives that would be difficult for us to make at this time. The welfare of my family had to be uppermost in my mind.
The final decision was made at his home on Monday night. It was the end of an emotional roller coaster ride.
I went back and forth very, very often in the last several weeks.
As recently as last week, Powell was outlining a speech announcing he would run. But then on Monday night, he met with his two closest advisors, Richard Armitage and Ken Duberstein, in his study. They were joined by Alma, who feared for his safety and her family's privacy. She was 100% against running. The assassination of Yitzhak Rabin came up, but only because they all had known him.
It was a deep tragedy, one that has great effect on the world at large. And it's certainly something that we ought to consider about the feeling that exists in the world against leaders. It just simply points up that always exists, but did not play a part in the decision.
Powell decided he just didn't have the fire in the belly to suffer the indignities of asking people for their money and their votes.
And for me to pretend otherwise would not be honest to myself, it would not be honest to the American people, and I would break that bond of trust. And therefore, I cannot go forward.
Is it over, Duberstein asked. It's over, Powell replied. No, Armitage said. It's the opening of the next chapter of your life. Powell plans to live that next chapter in private life.
There are a number of charities and educational activities that I have an interest in, and I'm going to find ways to show support to them and work in that field.
The newly declared Republican says he has no plans to campaign for GOP candidates, but he will try to bring blacks into the party.
A very large percentage of blacks don't believe the Republican Party appeals to them, and they vote consistently Democratic. And I think it is in the interest of the country and in the interest of African Americans to have that whole shaken loose.
Despite what he said today, Powell may have a hard time staying out of presidential politics in '96. He may have ruled out accepting the vice presidential nomination, but Republicans may not take no for an answer if having him on the ticket means the difference between winning and losing the White House. David Martin, CBS News, Washington.
With Powell out, at least for now, House Speaker Newt Gingrich is thinking again about getting in the race for the Republican presidential nomination. And all the declared GOP candidates are reassessing their strategies. Correspondent Phil Jones has that part of the story.
Senator Bob Dole flew to Manchester, New Hampshire for what was described as a preemptive strike against General Powell. But as it turned out, it wasn't necessary. Powell surrendered without a shot fired. So Dole picked up his new ammunition to use against his other GOP opponents.
I'm Steve Merrill, and I support Bob Dole for president.
Merrill is the New Hampshire governor who'd been holding out. But Dole's fight against sex and violence had made him a believer.
That courage took him not to the Beltway or to New York City, but to Hollywood itself, where he looked the moguls in the eye.
As for others in the Republican presidential class of '96, Pat Buchanan said he was sorry Powell wasn't getting in for two reasons. One, because he's very liberal.
So I would have had a perfect foil for my campaign. We could have had a great debate. And secondly, I think it would have brought down Senator Dole a little bit within striking distance.
Former Tennessee Governor Lamar Alexander proclaimed it a two-man race.
That race is going to come down to Senator Dole and to me.
So did Congressman Robert Dornan.
It really leaves only two military experts, Dole and Dornan.
So did Senator Phil Graham.
I think it is now clear that the field is set and that either Bob Dole is going to be the nominee for president of the Republican Party, or I'm going to be the nominee.
But apparently none of these candidates have been talking to this man who went to New Hampshire last June and has been threatening to get into the presidential race ever since. Today, with Powell out, Speaker Gingrich teased.
We'll frankly sit down probably during a Thanksgiving break if there is one, and Marion and I'll talk about it. We just were talking a minute ago, and we haven't made any decision. Frankly, had he run, it would have made it substantially less likely.
Gingrich, modest man he is, has always felt he is the one who can best articulate the Republican revolution. But if he runs for president, there could be lots more questions about Gingrich himself than the revolution. Phil Jones, CBS News, Washington.
It is not true that some people in the White House almost fainted from joy at the Powell announcement. That story is next. Also ahead, correspondent Bob Simon and an Israeli security expert take you step by step through the slip-up that let an assassin get to Prime Minister Rabin.
Salad shooter helps you every day.
How about some cheese for your pizza or perfect salad shooter hash browns for breakfast? Vegetables sliced or shredded, and nothing tops a salad like salad shooter.
Point and shoot to help you every day.
Presto Salad Shooter electric slicer shredder. So you can fill an omelet, slice a beet, make a soup, top a treat. Clean up easy, dishwasher safe, stores anywhere.
Salad shooter helps you every day.
Original and professional salad shooter.
That was your first date with Jimmy. You remember that?
All right, boys. Here it is. All right.
Mrs. Smith's pies, the taste that takes you home.
For his part, President Clinton gave little reaction in public to Colin Powell's decision not to run. Rita Braver has more now about what's going on in private.
When reporters asked the president his reaction to the Powell bow-out, Mr. Clinton appeared not to hear, and after a few words with the First Lady, offered no reply. In fact, the White House today took great pains not to kick up its collective heels at the Powell news. Press Secretary Mike McCurry insisting that rather than politics, everyone here has been focusing on
the current budget issues that we have in discussion with the Congress, and that's been what has preoccupied most people here today.
Not all the president's men are so circumspect.
Fortunately, now we have to look at this whole rather what I would consider, and apparently most voters, they're rather sorry Republican feel. And Red Rover, you know, bring Bob Dole right over, whoever they got over there, that's fine.
The administration is thrilled not to be running against a star who sometimes outshines the president on White House visits, or against a man Bill Clinton genuinely likes. Still, White House aides point out that Powell would not necessarily have won the nomination, and that President Clinton could have benefited from the rift Powell's candidacy would have exposed between Republican moderates and conservatives. A Democratic strategy is already emerging. Cast the remaining Republican candidates and their party as captives of the extreme right.
A sign virtually hung out that says moderates need not apply. that the suggestion that this Republican Party is a big tent party, I think will be described aptly today as a pup tent party.
They're not quite singing Happy Days Are Here Again, but there are big smiles here, especially because the Powell announcement came the day after Democrats held their own in state and local elections. Rita Braver, CBS News at the White House.
Results of non-presidential Election Day 95 have Republicans and Democrats claiming competing bragging rights today and rival boasts of good omens for Campaign 96. In the Kentucky governor's race, Democrat Paul Patton claimed victory not just over his Republican opponent, but over the National Republican Party and its policy agenda.
Kentucky has said no to cuts in Medicare and school lunches.
In Mississippi, Republicans did the boasting as incumbent Kirk Fordyce was reelected despite a late surge by Democrat Dick Mulfus. Mulfus tried, and some say came close to building a winning coalition of women and African-American voters. In Virginia, the focus was the legislature. Republicans hoped for solid proof of a big Republican realignment by winning both houses of the Virginia legislature for the first time since Reconstruction. They didn't do it. As for issues on the ballot, Maine voters said no to an anti-gay rights measure. And in Aspen, Colorado, a hard landing for an airport expansion measure. Gonzo journalist Hunter S. Thompson led the fear and loathing of overdevelopment campaign against expansion and won. A footnote for those of you who saw him on this broadcast last night. Thompson himself was in less than pristine condition Election Day. Police stopped him for allegedly driving while impaired. Republicans in Congress lost around today in their bid to push an anti-abortion agenda into a presidential campaign year issue. Senate Democrats, with the help of moderate Republicans, voted today to shelve, for more study, legislation that would make a rarely used type of late-term abortion a felony. The House had already passed that measure. President Clinton said he would veto it.
She's been teaching here 2 years. Hasn't missed a day of work yet. She says that's what vacations are for. Early last term, she was having these pains. She'd take a couple of Advil, do what she had to, but at the end of the day, they weren't enough. So I said, why not call your doctor? He told her about a leave.
He said take it every 8 to 12 hours.
Advil doesn't say 8 to 12.
Neither does Tylenol.
Fact is, at the end of the day, a leave is stronger relief than a dose of Advil, longer lasting than extra strength Tylenol. So she tried it. It's like I say, keep your mind open and you'll learn something. A leave was all it took. I wish I had another 10 like her.
One of me's enough.
Aleve, all day strong, all day long.
It's not fair. While we're doing our business out there, she's in her scoop away. The litter that clumps where she wets. They scoop away the clump. She's got a box that's day one clean. Me, I got a dog's life.
Scoop away, the litter that's day one clean every day.
It's revolutionary. A bathroom tissue made to work wet or dry. Quilted Northern Wet or Dry. Soft, cushiony, quilted for comfort, and specially designed to hold up to water. So unlike other bathroom tissues, Quilted Northern Wet or Dry won't fall apart even if used wet. Quilted Northern Wet or Dry.
Sandra Bullock is there, like you've never seen her before.
God, I love this.
Samuel Jackson is there, too.
That was great.
And so is blockbuster author John Grisham.
Action!
What's brought them all together in this small southern town?
We're here for the story, which I think is an incredible, incredible story.
Find out on an all-new 48 Hours, Thursday.
Israeli police have arrested 2 more suspects in the assassination of Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin. Meanwhile, 2 high-ranking Secret Service officials lost their jobs over the lapse in security that cost Rabin his life. Correspondent Bob Simon returned to the murder scene today, along with an Israeli journalist well-versed in the ways of Shin Bet Secret Service. Together, they tried to answer the question, how was the shield around Rabin pierced?
So the Prime Minister was standing here and speaking from here. They stood here in front of probably 100,000 people in the rally, all cordoned by hundreds of security guards, police and others, both uniformed and plainclothesmen. How many men would have been guarding Rabin in the inner circle? In the inner circle are some 15, perhaps too many, because when there are too many guards, each of the forces at some time was sure that the other was minding the store. There was probably a big sigh of relief as the rally was supposed to end. We can all go home now. Of course, we still have to go the last yard, the last proverbial yard, but what could happen?
So here are the stairs. Rabin's walking down the stairs. There are some security men in front of him.
This is the last staircase. You, Rabin, going down the stairs. The bodyguards trying to protect him.
So in fact, what we're seeing here now is not unrealistic, because there were a lot of people here then too.
A lot of people, a lot of goodwill. It was an actual glow, both from the lights and from the feeling of well-being that the rally evoked. A few feet from the car, in a moment, the door will open, but all of a sudden, he stops, and then his back is exposed, enough time for the assassin to dart from behind, from around this wall, to get his gun, to put it out, to pull the trigger, 3 shots, and he's done.
You spoke about the system of protective circles. One circle was around the Prime Minister. Presumably another circle would have been surrounding his car, pre-positioned.
Well, apparently not, and this is the fatal flaw, or the tragic collapse here. The perpetrator obviously knew that eventually Rabin, he would have to get to the car. And the bodyguards apparently looked for the penny under the lights. They didn't look in the darkness.
You were speaking about specific lapses of security. But isn't it really a more fundamental, a much deeper thing that somewhere in the recesses of their minds, Israelis never believed a Jew would assassinate a prime minister?
The Israeli Security Service has never been seriously concerned about such instances here until now.
The fact is, while these guys are so well trained, they'd had no experience because this had never happened before.
This was the very first real test, and they failed.
The Israeli cabinet today decided to set up a commission with subpoena powers to investigate the work of the Secret Service. In Brussels today, the United States and Russia agreed on a deal for Russian troops to serve as peacekeepers in Bosnia without being under direct NATO command. Defense Secretary William Perry said the 2,000 Russians would be part of an American division, but their orders would be relayed through a Russian general. Coming up next, Eye on America. Tonight, subliminal messages, playing games with your mind.
Come in, guys.
Hi, friend. How are you? Coffee and a jelly pill. Complete brand flakes. What's he stares like I can't make a change? What's with you? I look like this when I joined the force? Well, no. I eat junk all day. I come home, I say I'm going to work out. I never do. I got to do something.
Thousands of people have started turning their lives around with 4 little words. Kellogg's Complete Bran Flakes.
Hey, friend. Can I make a switch here? I feel like I'm married to you.
Kellogg's Complete Bran Flakes. It's a start.
This is a really beautiful day. Soup weather. There's this cream of chicken with vegetables from Healthy Choice, and that is rich stuff. Great big vegetables, lean chicken. Just makes you feel good. And only has 2 grams of fat. Beautiful. With Healthy Choice, I can eat what I like.
It's a great time to be silver because you're over 50 and you haven't lost your edge. Now there's a Centrum made just for you. Centrum Silver for your changing nutritional needs. Centrum Silver. It's a great time to be silver.
Hong Kong. It's part of an exciting new world that's growing so fast you never know where it's going to grow next. So with our worldwide reputation for meeting the toughest deadlines, we at Caterpillar aren't surprised to find ourselves involved in the world's largest construction project, Hong Kong's new airport. In the only place Hong Kong had room for it, the South China Sea.
Thanks to Sprint Business, there's a company who does more business in skis.
Sprint gave us an edge.
Sprint worked with Volant and brought them real solutions to help them get ahead so they can check orders online from anywhere and promote new products through video conferencing. Now they do business a whole new way.
And sales are really soaring.
Will They'll help your business do more business. Call Sprint Business.
What are people saying about the new CBS This Morning, the Boston Globe, an excellent news-making show, the New York Daily News? The studio audience wakes up morning. Join the crowd.
A remarkable achievement by international researchers tonight, for the first time showing what hallucinations look like, what parts of the brain are activated while a person is having one. First, the scan of a normal brain. Here, a scan showing the brain surface of a schizophrenic patient, seeing and hearing things that aren't there. And this, a composite of 5 schizophrenic patients deep inside their brains as they are hearing things that aren't there. This research could lead to new treatments and insight into human perception. And as we learn more about the human mind, some are looking for new ways to manipulate it. Enter high technology, now capable of sending subliminal messages that bypass the senses and go right to the brain. Correspondent John Blackstone shows you what we have in mind for tonight's Eye on America.
Is it just a computer game, or is it one step away from mind control? Players of the just-released game called Endorphin are bombarded by subliminal messages recorded at a level they cannot hear, but which are said to go directly into their subconscious.
I am free of dependency.
I breathe deeply.
I take good care of my body.
Physically, they are heard. Consciously, they are not registered. They are actually audible, but the music masks them.
I take charge of my life.
Riches flow into my
create
life.
the life that I want.
I attract opportunity.
They are exactly, precisely riding the level of the music changes in volume and right below the limit of your hearing ability.
Though the subliminals are hidden, Endorphin doesn't hide the fact they're there. It's one of the game's selling points.
You play more, you feel better.
It's part of a new wave of subliminals that comes as computers and digital technology have advanced techniques for hiding sounds and images. Visual subliminals may soon be flashing virtually unseen across computer screens as people work, urging them to stop smoking, stick to their diet, or make more sales.
The image is being flashed on the screen in different locations on the screen at 1/50th of a second.
But this raises questions about mind control that have given subliminals a bad name.
If this is coming at you and you don't even know about it, that's manipulation, and that's invasion of privacy, I think.
Viewers of the new film Jade are being exposed to subliminals, hidden frames that hint at the movie's ending.
I have no intent to have people literally see these things. They were meant to operate on your subconscious.
The first time Friedkin toyed with moviegoers' subconscious was in his film The Exorcist.
This is probably the frame that causes the whole stir over subliminal editing in movies. This frame right here. Now watch very carefully, because right there are the demon frames as he's trying to reach his mother before the demon gets to her.
Subliminals attacked America's consciousness in the 1950s when it was claimed the subliminal message, "Eat popcorn," was flashed on a movie screen and popcorn sales soared. But it turns out that popcorn experiment was just a hoax. No one has ever proved subliminals work. Still, the Federal Communications Commission has banned their use on television just in case.
There's absolutely no evidence in 90 years of research that would suggest that this technique has the ability to force or manipulate new ideas, new feelings, new thoughts, and certainly behavior.
Producer David Riccio believes the most subliminals can do is create mood.
Now I'm going to inject a track.
He adds subliminal church music to in-store soundtracks to discourage shoplifting.
They have meaning to us. They have an emotional content.
But subliminals are such a touchy subject, Riccio's clients, including Toys R Us, refuse to confirm that they have even tried the technique.
Do you know that they work? I know they work on me.
There's no question subliminals have become big business. Whether they work or not, only our subconscious knows for sure. In Santa Rosa, California, John Blackstone for Eye on America.
Will that be a window or aisle?
Sir, window.
Well, at least you know where to sit when you get home. The Accord Coupe from Honda. Possibly the world's easiest decision.
For a touch of arthritis pain, my husband takes Advil. Doctors recommend Advil most for minor arthritis pain, and it's gentler on his stomach than aspirin. He says Advil lets him get back to doing what he loves. Nothing's been proven to last longer than Advil.
Fibercon or Metamucil? Both give you the same predictable regularity, the same natural action of fiber. So what makes Fibercon different? With Fibercon, I get my fiber in 2 caplets. Fibercon, fiber regularity that's easier to take.
To build something that endures takes hard-working people. People who care. People with vision. And the strength to see the job through. We know. Since 1904, that's how we've built a name for ourselves in financial services. Providian. Insurance, credit, and retirement savings.
Finally, great popcorn from your microwave. Presto Power Pop Microwave Multi-Popper. Exclusive power-based concentrates microwaves to pop virtually every kernel. Pop with oil for a buttery flavor. Pop without oil for a healthier, low-fat snack. A third cup of popcorn, 3 quarts of crunch. Other microwave poppers can't measure up. See? Dishwasher safe, too. Nothing pops like Power Pop. That's why it's endorsed by Orville Redenbacher.
Power Pop puts power in the pop.
From Presto.
Colin Powell told his supporters today he's sorry he disappointed them by not seeking the presidency, at least not this time around. And he promised them that he'll try now to serve the country in a way that would, as he put it, justify their support. Correspondent Richard Threlkeld reports tonight on high hopes and a big letdown.
Evening, General. Colin Powell for president wasn't just supposed to make history, he was supposed to repeat it. Not 1996, but 1952, when the Republican frontrunner was not Senator Bob Dole, but Senator Bob Taft, who lost the nomination to another military hero of uncertain political persuasion, Dwight Eisenhower. Well, you can scratch that scenario.
We're going to be talking about President Powell not.
Jay Severin, a talk show host and GOP consultant, is just one of many disappointed Powell supporters.
Colin Powell not running, at least for president, doubles President Clinton's chances of re-election.
Therefore, I cannot go forward.
Disappointment, too, at Powell for President headquarters in Los Angeles, where they watched Powell's announcement.
Colin Powell would have given us something we haven't had in about probably the last 10 or 15 years, a reason to come vote.
Earl Cox, who's been traveling the Southeast stumping for Powell for president, will have to park his bus now. It's over.
I think he was a person who could have brought a cohesive base to the Republican Party. I think he could have brought new vigor. I think he could have brought enthusiasm. I believe people could relate to him.
And this in the South Bronx, where Colin Powell grew up.
That's a shame, because I think he really could have helped out our situation.
I think he's a good guy. I think he would make a difference.
Some others who are disappointed are the legions of political reporters and pundits, present company included, who love to watch a good political fight and had already made a cottage industry out of Colin Powell for president. Colin Powell's still young, of course, maybe next time. For now, though, Campaign 96 is looking more and more like politics as usual. Richard Threlkeld, CBS News, New York.
And that's part of our world tonight. Tomorrow on CBS This Morning, see how your boss stacks up against the best in America. For the CBS Evening News, Dan Rather reporting. Good night.